I think this election is going to separate the pro-lifers from the wannabes, the people who are in the pro-life movement that are really more Republican than they are pro-life. And the Giuliani nomination is really forcing these people out into the open. And we're starting to see that now with people like Pat Robertson coming out and endorsing Giuliani. People can sit here and make all the excuses they want to about that. It is absolutely 1,000% indefensible on any basis. There is no argument that you can make to defend that.
You know, when I heard that day, I just kind of threw up my hands and thought, let's go to the movies. Why bother to do anything? Pat Robertson, big Christian, CBN, get behind Giuliani.
But that's just all the things he professes. Now we know what the truth is.
No, that's exactly what Mark's point is. Now we know who's on our side, who's on the side for life, and who's a pragmatist. And that's the great thing about the 2008 election cycle. Let's separate the men from the boys. Sorry about that, Cherie.
The problem has always been, and the reason we can't really get a solid candidate in because people think, well, this one is more electable than that one, and that's the most dangerous position that anybody can take. The truth of it is, if everybody got behind a one single right solid guy, win or lose, we could get somewhere.
Absolutely.
We could get somewhere.
You know, this thing is really starting to shake out, and we're seeing it in other places besides just Pat Robertson. Tom Coburn, if you'd have told me this 6 months ago, I would have never... I would have fought you tooth and nail if you'd have told me this would happen. Because I've spent a lot of time with Tom Coburn in the past, former congressman from Oklahoma, now United States Senator from Oklahoma, always seemed to be a guy of integrity. I want to tell you something that he said at a National Press Club press conference a few weeks ago. Now, this is a guy professes to be pro-life, staunchly pro-life. The greatest moral issue of our time isn't abortion. It's robbing our next generation of opportunity. You're going to save a child from being aborted so they can be born into a debtor's prison? This could have been a Planned Parenthood press release.
Right.
This sounds just like Planned Parenthood.
What's happened to him? What's his deal?
I have no idea. But I'm telling you, you know what this sounds like to me? He's setting up to support Giuliani.
It sounds like it. In a backwards sort of way. But I'll tell you what, if you take his argument at face value, everybody's born, I think, with about a $24,000 debt load in America, every man, woman, and child. But if you take his argument at face value, it doesn't work. Because the best way to grow your way out of debt, or to get out of debt, is to grow your way out of debt. The best way America can grow and prosper and thrive is to have more children. Because you start reducing the debt load with more babies. They're consumers, they buy diapers, they grow up, they go to school, they buy cars, they own houses, etc.
Now, let me talk about another one here. This is amazing to me. Fred Thompson comes out on Meet the Press, right? When the issue comes up about abortion, he says he would not support a human life amendment, that this needs to be sent back to the states. And then he goes on to add to this, listen to this, quote, "I do not think it's a wise thing to criminalize young girls and perhaps their parents as abaters and abettors, and you can't have a federal law that would take young girls and say, basically, we're going to put them in jail." Nobody has ever suggested that. Before Roe, young girls were never put in jail for having abortions. Older women were never put in jail for having abortions.
And there's not one pro-life group that advocates that.
Not one. I've never heard of one group that advocates that. So this guy says, I don't believe that the unborn child's a living human being from the moment of conception, or else you would think that there is then a constitutional right to have your life protected. He says it ought to go back to the states, and so if one state wants to kill them, that's fine. If another state doesn't, that's okay. Well, wait a minute, Troy. What's the result of this?
Well, maybe all he's saying is he doesn't want to throw girls in jail. He wants to throw abortionists in jail.
Yeah, no, that's not what he said. He didn't say that. But what's the result of this? Less than a week after he says, I do not support a human life amendment to the U.S. Constitution, National Right to Life endorses him for president.
That's their man. He came out.
Can someone explain this to me?
But I'm not surprised.
Well, I'm not surprised either.
I've seen National Right to Life really support some strong measures to stop abortion. I've seen him support the status quo. I'm sorry, Johnny.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, but the problem is, isn't that one of their main agendas, to get that human...
You would think.
You would think. I mean, that's not. No.
When the middle letters are pro-life, PL, the National Pro-Life Committee, you would expect them to be pro-life.
You've got these fools like this governor of Texas now, Rick Perry, who's just an empty suit. I mean,
Didn't you call him a useful idiot?
A useful idiot. I wrote an article about that. And,
oh, you guys are terrible.
And he's out here saying he supports Giuliani now. Because Giuliani, listen to this. This radical slobbering pro-abort is going to help us overturn Roe versus Wade. This man believes this.
And I've heard him with my own ears, Rick Perry, say, I am a Christian, pro-life, Bible-believing, and then supports
Washed in the blood of
Giuliani.
Jesus, born again.
Gosh.
It makes you want to throw up.
You know, my dad used to always say, watch what I do, not what I say.
Absolutely.